Hello, everyone. Good morning and Happy New Year. Hope everyone had a pleasant and happy New Year's Eve and New Year's Day with your friends and family, or however way you selected to celebrate it. This is my first update on the build for the Fighting Falcon on ISM. As you see, a lot of little yellow Tamiya tape here. My first step with the build is just test fitting some of the major parts to see how everything fits together before I really do any major gluing and stuff. Just a general comment about the kit overall. Generally, I find that a lot of the sprue gates are a little bit on the thick side, so if you are building this kit, just to be mindful of that and careful when you're snipping them off the sprue, and do some careful cleaning up of the attachment points. And a lot of test fitting, which is what I am doing. For example, here I am test fitting the upper and lower parts of the body, along with the front part here. So, for example, you got sprue gates here. You gotta make sure that's nice and clean, so you have a nice, good, tight joint here when you go to glue this. This way, you don't have to do any type of sanding or filling and so forth. It'll make your job down the road a whole lot easier. Also, you see this back part here. I left the sprue on, mainly because of these little. These are the static, electrical static discharge things here. Just break them off. Also, some of you, a couple of you, I saw on your builds threads that the lower fuselage here was kind of warped. On mine, there's a little bit of slight warp. I mean, nowhere near the way that I've seen some of your guys are. But here you see, taped up. I think once you glue it on, this will be fine. There'll be no problems with that. Secondly, so here you got the front part of the engine intake. So again, test fitting everything first. As far as the fit on this, I do see here with the test fitting that I'm going to have to do a little bit of a cleanup. This joint here just does not want to really close no matter how much I push it. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of sanding or inside to maybe get a little bit closer, or just know that I'm going to have to do some filling and sanding on that. Same thing over here. Otherwise, this is okay. The rest of the exhaust here, again, just test fitting everything. One thing about this is that if you look in there, you see those little stalagmites or stalactites. Those are ejector marks. Just take this off. You can see how thick those are. So these are things that I'm going to have to go here and clip these off. They're really thick, and clean this up. So that's going to be a bit of work there doing that. Otherwise, the fit seems to be fine. On this part, I think I mentioned on my unboxing that I had some ejector marks here, which you can still see a little bit here. Try cleaning up here, here, and here. But once you put this in there and you're looking down the exhaust, you're going to see very little of that. So I'm not too concerned about that now. I did some assembly and pre-assembly here of the tail. I think this is all composed of 14 parts, just to see how everything fits. So far so good. You can see that there. Obviously this is not all glued up, so it's a little loose. I was test fitting the cockpit. Now the ejector seat, put it together, but I don't know, I'm not too happy with it. So I'm probably going to replace this with a resin seat, which I'll get down the road. And this is the top, which I haven't done much with. The other thing that I've done here is I started assembling the drop tanks, which are going to get the tiger meat details on the side. Now, one I have finished off, the other one I just have it glued together right now. You can probably see there's quite a bit of a gap here on this end, even when I have all this here nice and lined up. There's also a bit of a step and gap here at the nose part. You can see that little bit of gap there. But once you finish it off, polish it off, put maybe just a little bit of filler. Like for example, you can see that white line there. That's a little bit of filler. A little bit of filler here along the nose. A little filler back here. Sand it off. It's pretty good. Also on these drop tanks, the pylon here has a nice, good, thick attachment point here, and the press fitting is pretty good. So you should be able to just attach these without even having to glue them. But on the other hand, the attachment points on this part to the pylon, on the top pylon to the wing, they're a little small. Maybe you can see those little tabs there. So that's a pretty small tab that goes into these holes, and that's supposed to hold it there in place. So I find that a little bit a weak attachment point for that. So keep in mind this wing, besides priming and painting it, you're also going to be laying the decals over it and then putting your pylons here to use these drop tanks. I don't know, maybe I want to use the drop tanks. I don't know. I'll decide that further along as I get into the build, but there's something to keep in mind on that. Also, just to make a point as far as how I clean up these round drop tanks, I use this flex file, so it's very flexible, as you can see. So it's good for sanding those rounded edges there. And then just went back in there after filling them in, using the scriber to any little panel lines that I lost. Anyway, so that's my first quick update. Stay tuned for more. Thank you.